Hey Cal fans, this is the football film study for week 2 where I look at our offense against the BYU defense. In this video, like last week's video, we're going to look at quarterback play, but unlike last week's video, in this one we're going to give Brandon McIlwain his due. We're going to look at what he brings to the table, why you might decide to use him on a play instead of Garbers, and most importantly, how our offense is able to keep the defense from keying on him whenever he's in the game. If we want to understand what McIlwain adds, then we need to understand what Garbers can do. And so to do that, let's look at this play, which we also saw in last week's video against North Carolina. On this play, the offensive line's blocking a zone run for Laird to the right, and we're bringing this fullback around the backside edge to block for Garbers in case he decides to pull the ball and take it himself. On this play, we also see BYU running one of their most common fronts. So what we see here is that they've got a 6-man box and that their linebackers are kind of skewed towards the strong side or toward that fullback's alignment, with one linebacker playing right in the middle of the formation, another linebacker playing to the side of the fullback, and then no linebacker away from the fullback side in the box. For our part, we're matching those 6 defenders with 6 blockers of our own. So we've got the 5 offensive linemen plus the fullback. One thing that I want you to notice as we run this play forward is that it's not really blocked for Garbers, even though he ends up carrying the ball. The entire offensive line's blocking zone to the right for Laird, and Laird's going to be doing all the dirty work in between the tackles here. Sure, Garbers has the option to keep the ball and to take it around the edge, and we got that fullback leading for him, but he's really more of a safety valve in case the defense cheats inside against the zone run to Laird. We're not asking him to read and set up blockers in the box, and we're not asking him to play this like a real running back. This is what changes when McIlwain comes in the game. On this play, we see that there's no running back in the backfield. McIlwain's the only possible ball carrier. Watch here as he takes the snap, reads his blocks, and finds an open lane for a cutback to get a nice gain. On this play, McIlwain isn't just reading one player and keeping the ball if that player cheats. He is the primary ball carrier. He is reading the blocking scheme and picking a lane. When your quarterback becomes the primary ball carrier, this is also going to change things from a numbers standpoint. Remember that on the Garbers play, we had 6 blockers to go up against their 6 defenders in the box. But when we bring McIlwain in, what we're really doing is subbing in a tight end instead of Laird. This gives us 7 blockers in the box, and they're going up against BYU's 6 box defenders. So because McIlwain has the ability to be a primary ball carrier, we can eliminate the running back position and bring in an extra blocker to get us an extra number in the box. Now, if McIlwain's the only possible ball carrier on these plays, and if most of his plays are runs, then how do we stop the defense from keying on him? There are a lot of answers to this question, and this is really where Baldwin seems most comfortable to me as a play caller. Let's look at this play one more time. On this play, we're running a play called quarterback power to the right. This means that in addition to the 4 blockers that you see to the right of center, we're pulling the left guard as a lead blocker, giving us a total of 5 blockers to the right of center and leaving only 1 blocker to the left of center. Now, if this were the only play that we ran out of this formation, then yes, the defense would be able to key on it. It'd be easy for them to devote enough defenders to the right side of the formation in order to stop this play. Although McIlwain usually runs the ball when he's in, though, his runs don't all go in the same direction, and they don't involve the same numbers on each side of the formation. On the previous play, we saw that we were pulling a guard to the right, giving us 5 blockers to the right of center, and leaving only 1 to the left of center. On this play, though, we're running quarterback inside zone, and bringing the fullback across the formation to block the backside defensive end. This gives us 3 blockers to the left of center, and creates a nice cutback lane, which McIlwain exploits for a nice gain. BYU might be able to find a formation that works for stopping one of these 2 plays, but it's going to be a lot harder to find one look that can get numbers against both of them. Now, let's watch that inside zone play one more time. This time, notice how this defender out here is unblocked, and he's the one who ends up making the tackle. One way that BYU could swing numbers in their favor would be to bring that defender closer to the box so that he can make the tackle before McIlwain can get downfield. This is a real concern for us, and so we need to do something to discourage it. We need to find a way to make life miserable for that defender and to make him wrong no matter what he does. With that in mind, let's check out this next play. As I run it forward, notice that this looks just like the quarterback inside zone play that we just saw. The offensive line's all stopping to the left, and it looks like the fullback is coming across the formation to block the backside end. Because of this, our poor unblocked defender out here is getting ready to crash inside, and he's going to try and make a tackle on McIlwain. But unfortunately for him, we're not actually running quarterback inside zone. Instead, we're rolling McIlwain out and putting Hawkins in the flat. Because that defender's coming inside to tackle the quarterback, he easily gets outflanked by Hawkins, who should have gotten an easy first down here. On this play, we see yet another way to control that same defender. Once again, this is that quarterback power play with the guard pulling to the right, but this time BYU's blitzing our friend, the unblocked defender, to try and get an extra number in the box. The problem for them is that even though this is in fact a quarterback run, it's also an RPO. Noah's running a slant in the slot, and so when McIlwain sees the blitz coming, he just abandons the run and throws to Noah, who's working into that space that the blitzer vacated. One final thing to remember is that McIlwain is a legitimate quarterback in his own right? He was in the mix to be our official starter throughout spring ball and fall camp, and he can throw the ball a little bit. This gives us another way to make life miserable for that unblocked defender and to keep him from coming into the box. On this play, there's no run component at all. We know that this defender is trying to cheat into the box to take away the quarterback run, and so we just call a pass play that sends Noah on an out route. This poor guy gets outflanked easily, and Noah picks up the nice gain down the sidelines. What we're seeing here is that even though McIlwain runs the ball much more often than not, we have a whole host of ways to keep his plays from being predictable. By switching up the directions of our runs, and by switching up numbers to each side of the formation, we make it difficult for BYU to load up on any one part of the field. In this game, we were also able to keep BYU's defenders out of the box with our wide receivers, whether that came on rollouts, RPOs, or on true passing concepts. This is the kind of play calling where Baldwin really shines, and McIlwain's effectiveness in this system shows us why his playing time is on the rise. Alright, that's all I've got for you today. Stay tuned for next week when I break down our game against Idaho State, and until then, go Bears!